All right, folks, welcome to the 7 Quotes With podcast, where softball's greatest minds share the quotes that have shaped their lives, fueled their motivation, and guided their leadership. Each episode explores 7 handpicked quotes highlighting life lessons, personal philosophies, and game day mantras. I'm your host, Jamie Oikel, and joining me today is defensive whiz and former Washington Huskies star and national champion, Morgan Stuart. Welcome, Morgan.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Listen, I told you before we jumped on and in our email that I'm a big fan, longtime fan. Your content absolutely helped get my daughter, recruited and get her ready. She plays ball at Yale. She's a rising junior. And so I love your stuff. So before we dig into your quotes, I want to grab some text from your website. I'm reading this directly, or I pulled it out. It says, Morgan advocates for players looking for their voice because that's the type of player she started out as. Tell us a little bit about young Morgan and the voice that's kind of grown inside you over time.
Yeah, young Morgan is pretty much what I do a lot of this for, because I see that player in so many of my kids that are coming into the facility, girls that will message me or their parents will message me. And really what that is about is me just knowing that I grew up as a quiet kid, but I had that drive, I had that passion. I loved the sport of softball, but I was really hard on myself. And as much as I cared about doing well, I wore that inside all the time, and it ended up affecting my external performance. It ended up affecting the type of teammate that I was able to be. And what I want my message to all athletes everywhere is that if we just kind of turn down that criticism inside, we're able to be more of the person that we hope to be. So that's what I want for every single kid that either, now it's their parents that are following me. It's the coaches more so that are following me. But
yeah.
That's what I want for them. I want them to understand that they have that ability to train that inner voice and to be anything they want to be.
I've seen you, and you can probably echo this, or you probably feel this. I've seen you grow over the time that I've watched your content, get comfortable in your own skin. You do a great job writing in your email as well, kind of letting that shine through. Like, hey, it's tough. It's not always easy. I've gone through these challenges, so I kind of feel like I know some of your story there. But let's go to quote 1. I think this is the only one that doesn't fully read on the screen. So you can read what's on the screen, and I have the rest if you don't have it in front of you.
Yeah, no, I love, this is really one of my favorite ones. Our greatest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. I don't know if you want to read the rest of it.
Yeah, the rest of it, yeah, it's a little bit longer. It goes, as we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others, from Marianne Williamson. Why'd you pick that one?
I love that one because as athletes, as me, as a self-proclaimed perfectionist, absolutely. I have a fear of being inadequate, of not being perfect, of not being enough. But really, when you think about it, it's like that fear holds us back from being everything that we can be. And in that case, those 2 bigger pillars of, okay, if I am actually that great, I'm leaving that stone unturned, right? I'm not living to my potential. And also, in the same token, I'm not being vulnerable enough. I'm not being self-aware enough to recognize that and give others the ability to see that in themselves also. So I love this one. I think I first heard it, my mom would write quotes, which is so funny that you reached out and that had this format of a podcast, because me and my brothers would make fun of her, like, oh, another quote, mom's got another quote. But these are the ones that stuck with me. She wrote this in a birthday card once, and I'm like, whoa, that's so deep.
Yeah, that's deep.
Yeah.
Here is a fearful situation, right? This is something that comes up right away, and I wanted to dig into your championship run. So I Google, 2009 Washington Huskies championship run, and one of the first results, it says Washington Huskies won on a walk-off single from Morgan Stuart in the bottom of the 8th that scored Kitty Poland, and so that's obviously exciting. Tell me about that game, that moment, that run, that national championship. How'd that feel?
Well, it's one of the best feelings ever. Like anytime you get a game-winning hit and you can come through, it's that shared joy that every athlete wants to live through. I think I had been slowly building my confidence as a hitter just in our postseason run. I really felt it when we were in our super regional against Georgia, which nobody talks about because it's not like the biggest reason why we're there, but
Mm-hmm.
I was hitting like doubles off the wall or like hitting it right at people. I'm like, wow, I'm really seeing the ball well. And then I get to the World Series and I'm like, it's like there's beach balls coming at me. And I'm like, wow, this is like the best thing ever that at the biggest moment, I'm on my game. And that had kind of never happened to me. If you have followed my story, I was never really confident as a hitter. I love defense.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of my safe place. And with hitting, I was a sophomore that year. And so I always kind of felt we have 9 seniors. If I mess up, they're going to have my back. And so that was kind of my theme is like, okay, I really hope that I can come through, but if I can't, we're good. Like my team has my back. And I think that gave me a ton of ability to play more free. And just in that moment, yeah, I could have been thinking about, well, if I don't do this, but I've got that safety net of if I don't do this, my team has me. And I talk about that as well of giving, like making it in a team sport. We can't make it so much about ourselves because we're so hard on ourselves as perfectionists, as those kids that are super high achievers. It's so easy to go internal. But when we give ourselves the ability and freedom to see like the big picture is this at bat, this play, this situation that I am a part of isn't going to, like, I'm not going to win or lose the game in this single moment. It can sometimes feel like that. But when we take
Mm-hmm.
the pressure off of ourselves and we have that bird's eye view of the moment, it allows us to be in the moment and have those great memories. Because I think if I put too much pressure on myself, I mean, we know this about the mental game, our greatest fears kind of come true. And that situation also happened to me in my career. So I'm just happy that I was able to be present in that moment.
Yeah, that must have been extraordinarily exciting for you guys. And you just hit on a bunch of really key stuff there. You know, one at bat's not going to define you. Your team is there to pick you up. You're one of many players. You know, softball is a game of failure. Like those are lessons that you learn. But how great to see beach balls in the World Series. That's a,
One of the coolest things ever. I
that was the
like
perfect time for it.
fans are screaming, you're hearing all these
Yeah.
things, and that can be just so overwhelming and intimidating. But in that moment, I'm like, wait, I can actually enjoy this. I can look around and be like, this is a really cool moment
Yeah.
because I
Yeah.
feel like so in my body and grounded and ready to go.
Yeah, it's been great. We've been watching it for years. I don't think I watched the year you would have played, but man, we've been watching it for the last 5, 6 years, and it's just been so incredible. The games, the environment just keeps growing like mad. It's awesome. Let's go to quote 2 from Jackie Robinson. What do you got?
A life is not important except in the impact it has on other lives. And
Yeah.
this is, I mean, obviously famous quote.
Hmm.
Um, one of my big things that I talk about on anywhere that I post, maybe not my defense lessons page on Instagram, but more so my Morgan Stewart, my personal page, is I have struggled with self-worth, my mental health, and just seeing kind of the purpose in working so hard and then having that there's always a chance that it doesn't work out. But in those chances that it doesn't work out, if we are able to share that experience, we're able to be vulnerable, we're able to tell the real story, we're able to connect with those other people that are doing great, that are doing good things, they're doing good work, but they're also, a little bit frustrated, a little bit, they're lacking motivation to continue to go forward. I think that that's part of the reason why I love to tell my real story. I love to be vulnerable on social media
Hmm.
when majority of people are just posting the highlights. I'm going to talk about the impact that failure, that a struggle through mental health is going to have on me, because if it impacts just one other person to help them see like, hey, you're not alone. All of these steps are part of your process and becoming who you're supposed to be becoming, then I think that it's all worth it. even if you fail, even if you're having a really tough time, that impact, that connection is what life's all about.
Yeah. And I saw, I mean, this again, I'll go right back to your site. This is great. I mean, 12 years in business, 9,000 hours of coaching, reached over 200,000 players, 5,000 workouts. Like if you don't know this, if you haven't heard it, if you need some reinforcement, you are making a big impact. So thank you for what you do. I mean, how does it feel? I know you do a lot of in-person lessons and group lessons. It can be tiring. You know, I've been there and sweaty and you're like, what's going on? Why am I doing this? But like, talk about that feeling you feel at the end of a good practice.
I mean, I think I feel this sigh of relief at the end of a great practice because you've prepped, you've gone through your own personal training of like, all right, how can I over prepare my actual workout so that me, Morgan, can be present and actually interact and have that connection piece with the other players that are there? Because majority of these people that sign up and that are in front of me in person have looked me up online, are there for a reason. A lot of times their parents might sign them up because they are quiet. And so I have to be present, be in the mindset of, okay, these kids are here to get some sort of either motivation or reassurance that they're in the right spot. So I think after a great workout, that sigh of relief is just, all right, they learned something about their mechanics, but mostly they learned that failure is part of the process and they can figure it out. That's kind of
Yeah.
always the lesson that I want kids to leave my facility with, is not that they need me, not that they need, I mean, everyone needs someone, but that they don't need me as their coach to be able to have that feeling, that empowerment inside them, like, hey, this is just one other thing that I'm going to tackle. I've got an issue with my throwing. I've got an issue with my
Mhm.
mentality. I can do this.
Yeah, listen, I love it. It is a weird feeling at the end of the day when you finish one of those practices. But later on, I have another question later. I want to ask you a little bit more about how you practice plan and how you get into it. But
Mhm.
let's go to quote 3 right now from Muhammad Ali. What do you got?
Champions aren't made in the gyms. Champions are made from something they have deep inside them, a desire, a dream, a vision. They have to have the skill and the will. Yeah. So this one, actually, another one from my mom. You're going to see this recurring theme. This was a quote that she made for my entire team. She put different quotes. This is the one that I got on my little snack, I don't know, thing before postseason of high school. So high school Morgan, shy, super skinny, definitely a great shortstop, a great defender, but at the time, like, I would not say a word, I would not raise my hand. So
Oh,
this
wow.
quote kind of brings me back to high school me, somebody that was hungry, that wanted to get a college scholarship, that was a freshman on a team full of, upperclassmen, kids that were committed to Ohio State, Arizona State, Cal Baptist, all these colleges. And I'm just me, just quiet, kind of in the back. And my mom always took that, like, was team mom, would come and bring snacks. And I just remember this quote because it just brings me back to that Morgan.
And the part that this one also was a little bit longer. The last sentence that's not on here that really brings it home is that the will, it says, but the will must be stronger than the skill.
Mm.
And it's absolutely the case. I'm sure you've seen in your lessons, and we've all seen coaching kids over time that are super talented and they're just good, but maybe they're not working as hard. And then those kids that are just working harder, they catch up and they break through and they surpass some of those kids who just relied on talent. And so it has to be a combination of the two. How have you seen athletes balance that equation between skill and will?
Gosh, it's tough because it is a journey, and skill and will. Uh, I think obviously when kids are aging, a lot of the skill kids rise to the top. A lot of them will develop this idea of like, oh, I'm the best on the team, etc. Right, and they have that expectation. Those kids with just the will are going to be successful because they've got that internal drive. They might not be the most talented, but it's only those kids that are willing to work on both that are going to be that 1% that end up going to college and end up playing on TV if that's a college that they go to. But yeah, it's definitely so, and especially now with all of the different options that kids have, social media,
Mm.
all of the different activities, the burnout that sometimes happens with kids in softball that are practicing 5 days a week, that are going to 3, 4 lessons a week, that are still giving up their weekends. I mean, I remember when I was in travel ball, it was you have a hitting lesson and then you give up your weekend, and your whole family kind of gives up their weekend to
Oh
be
yeah.
part of this journey. And that becomes okay, the skill is naturally developing. You also have that lonely work of things that you do at home, but that will piece, it becomes less of like, oh man, I kind of want to go and hang out with my friends this weekend. And it's for me, that's kind of how it was. It was like, man, this is going to be so fun. Versus now, kids are practicing 5 days a week. We've got team sanctioned things throughout the week. And then uh, our weekends are still taken up. We're now traveling 5, 6 times during the year instead of one nationals a year.
Hmm. Hmm.
Uh, it can lead to a lot of, well, burnout, and then
Yeah.
kind of questioning, all right, is this for me? I know I have to practice all this time to develop the skill, but that will piece is very individual when it comes to, all right, do I still love it? Am I okay to continue to go and strive for college softball when I've been doing this for 8+ years at this point?
It's really hard because it continues to level up. I saw it with my daughter, and then we've had younger ones come up through it, and it's intense. It's intense. All the stuff you talked about, you practice all week, and then you travel on the weekends, and it only gets bigger as showcases. You start going further and further, and at some point, boys and high school and this and that, and everything starts to pull you in different directions. So burnout is real, like and then the parent pressure is real. The demands are real, and college coaches watching me, and no one's responding to my emails. Like, there's a lot of pressure. And then you also hit on social media, which I'm going to come to in a second. And now it's like, oh, I didn't get enough likes on my post, or I don't have a highlight from this weekend, like I struck out. Like it's hard. It has really changed. So let's go there. Let's kind of stay in social media. I was going to ask you at some point, because you've grown your ability over time. What do you like about social media, and what do you not like about social media?
Gosh, what I like about it, business wise, it's amazing for me
Mm.
because it's about, I really strive to be myself. So it's not really work for me to show up and just tell my story. And I guess it's been a form of therapy for me, even to
Yeah.
just go, you know what? This is me. This is what I do. This is what I believe in.
Yeah.
And it's really been insightful, joyful, even for me to go and write what I need to do there. What I don't like about it is that someone can make a post, and as you're scrolling and you kind of see it on your phone, you automatically compare to yourself. Automatically. It's just
Mm.
it's human nature to compare. So in that moment, when you're seeing that post, you don't really know where that person's coming from. You don't really know all the years or uh, the intent behind everything. So I think, especially with kids that are growing and developing, I think that it would have been extremely hard for me to constantly have that mirror on my life when some kids are on social media as young as 10 years old, 10,
For
11,
sure.
12,
For
13,
sure.
thinking about all of these milestones of life, that it's okay to grow on your own without constantly having a measuring stick. So that's tough. I think I love it for my personal, as an adult, for my business, for
Yeah.
people to know exactly who they're getting when they show up. But from a kid's point of view, if it were 12-year-old Morgan, I'd be like, all right, let's kind of limit this. Let's take a look at what makes you feel good about looking at other people's things. Let's take a look at how each post is going to affect you down the line, because these things can't be deleted. So that's what I think. I'm not a parent, but I think that along with a whole long list of all the things that makes parenting hard, I think social media is one of those, like I would say
Yeah.
top 10 of things to be wary about.
100%. I mean, I'll just echo it as a parent of three, 2018, and we have our own 12-year-old Morgan, by the way. We have our 12-year-old Morgan. So, and I see, of course I have a phone and everyone does too. And we all doom scroll and scroll, but I see the kids get kind of just wrapped into it and then comparing and doing TikToks with each other. And, what if someone doesn't like mine? And you hit a really good one where, yeah, they're going through it and, oh, she's pretty, or she did this, or I don't do that. I don't feel that. So our children obviously have phones. We do want to stay on top of it. I echo that for everybody that is a parent. Do your best. It is 100% a challenge, and we could do a whole nother show on that.
Exactly.
We'll keep rolling. Let's go to pop culture and media. You got a quote from Grey's Anatomy.
Grey's Anatomy. I think I literally picked these quotes from different points in my life. So Grey's Anatomy, really big impact on me. Have some fire, be unstoppable, be a force of nature. Christina Yang, my favorite character on Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm getting pretty old because now Grey's Anatomy is in its like 30th season or something ridiculous. But
wait, is it still running?
I'm not sure. I stopped watching because it got a little bit too crazy for me, and like ventured away from obviously the original characters that I love. But if you have not seen the first 4 seasons of Grey's Anatomy, you have to go back and watch them because there's really, really good life lessons in there. It's also still a show, so let's be real. But yeah, this quote strikes me because Grey's Anatomy is a show about doctors. A majority of those really powerful, awesome characters for me were women. And yeah, there's, I don't know, model looks characters, but Christina is really just going, hey, be unstoppable, be this person that you want to be. It doesn't, and in some of our other quotes, doesn't matter how pretty you are, it's about what's inside. So yeah, there's Grey's Anatomy also, just for people that love quotes. The beginning of every episode started with a quote and ended with like a wrap up of that whole idea. And I just loved the format of that growing up.
Yeah. Well, I am in the camp. I probably watched the first 4 years for sure. Like it was big, like appointment TV. Like I watched it, but I know I drifted and didn't stick with it over time, but great show, great character that you mentioned, for sure. Let's talk about, your future, like what's coming down the road. Any interest in doing college coaching, broadcasting like some of your colleagues have done? What do you think things look like for Morgan? 3 years, 5 years, 10 years down the line?
No broadcasting for me. I think I would be one of those people that did not say a word because I just like watching. So yeah, sometimes I'll have a comment, but it would not be very entertaining. So no broadcasting for me. I think that what it looks like is I'm really, really trying to be a better leader for my team of coaches, to train and understand my own vision for what I like. When I am coaching, I have a certain standard. I have expectations. And this has been my challenge in the last couple of years, is trying to maintain a certain standard, communicate what I see, and kind of weave that into my leadership of my team. And then beyond that, I think in the next 10 years, I really would like to put together better resources for coaches that they can access online, that people can access across the country. Because I know that I'm really good in person, and I know that I bring a specific sort of energy and impact in person. Now the challenge is, okay, how do I package this? How do I communicate it to be able to give it, and just share what I know, and how I can impact even outside of my general area. So that's what I'm working on right now.
Yeah, it's a powerful model. The one-to-one, right? A lot of people want to coach one-to-one. and then you have group settings, and then you have one-to-many, which is the internet. Like you
It's
can
tough.
you can deliver the same thing to 5 people or 500 people or more online. And for folks, if you haven't seen Morgan's content, she's terrific, and find her morgan-stewart.com and everything else. We'll talk about where you can find her, but her stuff is terrific, focused on defense. We're going to hit on that in a second. Also the mental game. And yeah, it's like, how do you keep layering the pyramid to get bigger and have more impact? And it's a challenge.
Yeah, it's tough. I guess that's why I'm kind of going slow in that sense. Is I do love coaching in person, but also just in terms of life and business growth, you want to have that freedom of time. You want to have freedom of just freedom. Like that's just a kind of a normal thing. And owning your own business, I could just be doing the same thing forever, but then I'm not preaching that growth. I'm not living that I guess the value of continuing to challenge myself. This is probably my most challenging thing so far.
Well, what's great is like softball's on an upward swing. Like it is just climbing. And so, yeah, just hook on. You're doing all the right stuff. Just you'll find the spot. So we'll keep tracking your journey. But this one I like too. This is one of my favorite characters in the planet that there was ever in a movie. But Carrie Fisher, what do you got?
Stay afraid, but do it anyway. What's important is the action. You don't have to wait to be confident. Just do it, and eventually the confidence will follow. I love it. I love everything about this quote because so many people wait to feel ready. I myself did this, especially entering college. I think it's such a scary thing to jump into the deep end and just hope it all works out. But we all have to do it, no matter if it's going to college, no matter if it's starting a new job, no matter if it's saying yes to something that you're just scared of doing. If we don't do things in fear, we might never do them because we might never feel ready. So I
was going to say, two things about this one. It's what I had written down, kind of my notes is like, yeah, it's so much easier in life to be afraid and retreat than to take the action, to do it anyway. But I always find, and I think you do also, but when you do the thing, you're like, yes, I'm glad I did it. I'm very infrequently not happy that I went and proceeded with the thing that I was either nervous to do. So, break through that fear, do it anyway. So Princess Leia, Star Wars, you a fan growing up? What do you, any
yeah, is again, born in 89. I was around for all the original Star Wars, not like the release of the original Star Wars, but oh my gosh.
We got some dog action.
No, we had an earthquake. That was just an earthquake.
Oh no. Okay.
It scared me.
Okay.
All right. I think we're good. Unless we're not. So we're gonna see.
Let me know.
We're gonna see. No, but yeah, Star Wars, loved all the original ones. But yeah, this quote struck me because so many people talk about confidence. So many people want that. And what I heard this from actually Mel Robbins is bravery is kind of the precursor to being able to build that confidence, because confidence comes from seeing yourself over and over, do the thing correctly, seeing yourself and having that highlight reel, looking back and going, you know what? I'm good. I did it. But there has to be that layer first. The first building block is bravery, right? You have to be brave to overcome that fear because the fear is not going away. So I love it.
Yeah. I'm like getting through the earthquake thing, which we don't have on my side of the I want to, we touched on it a little bit, but I want to go a different angle there. On your practices and your trainings, I've seen, from what I've seen, right? Set up stations, you keep people busy, you keep them active. And I do the same with my practices. Just let's get more reps as we can. But I've seen standing around practices, one ball at a time, like that stuff. So kind of coach for a minute, like tell other folks, like how can folks think about an effective practice, defense in particular?
Yeah, effective practice for me is there. And there's two schools of thought that I go by, because the game is a lot of standing around, right? Mm-hmm. So if we're kind of giving this fake version of defense to kids, we always have to cycle back to what is the game? What is the game asking for of us? So the reason why I like to go fast, the reason why I like to keep kids in motion is two reasons. One, we want to practice. So the practice is harder than the game. We have to process information. We have to recover from failure faster in practice than we would in a game. So that's why I like speed. I like shorter station length because kids have to jump in. They have to be brave. They have to try it. They have to make an adjustment within 1 or 2 reps, or else we're rotating and it's on to the next thing, because that's really what life is. It's like life isn't going to wait for you to just sit in one spot and figure it out. It's going to pass you by. So I love speed. Also, just with multiple kids working and learning, we don't have to sit still while other people are figuring things out. We can be doing dry reps. We can be doing strength. We can be observing and learning from people that are going in front of us, and continue to learn. That word intent keeps coming up for me, because so often when we are in line and kind of just waiting or standing around, we're not intently learning and watching the person in front of us. We're losing it mentally. We're kind of off in space. We're thinking about how we're hungry, how we're tired. Gosh, softball and baseball are a lot of standing around. So yes, I like to go fast. And also when we circle back and go, all right, let's implement what we learned from going fast and go into the game. Oftentimes I think that by doing multiple things in a short amount of time, the kids that now are kind of standing around and waiting are able to go, okay, how am I going to continue to be active mentally instead of be like normalize standing around and not being present mentally.
Yeah. Love it. Let's go to quote number 6, John F. Kennedy, famous guy. What do you got?
Yes. The best time to repair the roof is when the sun is shining. I mean, yeah, I think a lot of these quotes are self-explanatory, but
yeah, well, this one made me think it made me think like, hey, I'm doing well. Like let's go in the software world. I'm doing well. I'm hitting well, playing defense mostly well, but like, every time I get a hard backhand, I keep missing that, but things are mostly well. Well, should I wait to fix that? Or like, should I fix it now ish that, everything else is going well? Should I wait till something else falls apart and I need to repair a whole bunch of stuff? That's what kind of clicked into my mind immediately. And what other thoughts do you have?
Yeah, for me, it's when it's raining, right? It seems like when one thing goes wrong, everything's going wrong. And not even if everything goes wrong, but even if you're failing in the moment, that is a heavy emotional weight. And to me, when everything seems heavy, you're really hard on yourself. You're trying to like patch a hole in the roof when your self-talk is going down. Other people are giving you criticism. It's really, really difficult to fix a mechanical problem. It's really difficult to fix a mental problem when we're just trying to be okay, taking a step forward. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, we can apply this to life. I think about it often in terms of the mental health space of, hey, if you're having a really, really tough time, like talk therapy isn't necessarily going to fix how you feel. It's great to be consistent with how, like the ways that you're trying to grow and work on yourself. Maybe it is going to therapy, but we don't just go to therapy when we feel the worst. We build our skills in order to combat that when it happens. But when we're consistent in having these good habits, it's going to build us up to weather the storm when we need to.
Good. Thanks. Yeah, Morgan, really, really good. I appreciate that. It's kind of making me think of the journey, the recruiting journey that can definitely ebb and flow. And so if you wouldn't mind, sharing a little bit about your recruiting journey, like that you went through mentally. And I don't know if you help players that you're in your classes point them in any direction or not. So you can give some thoughts about, how the current players are experiencing recruiting these days. What do you think?
Yeah, my recruiting journey a long time ago. So at some points I just don't think it's relevant. But yeah, I went through a time when my dad played football at Texas. I wanted to
Hmm.
play softball at Texas because
Oh,
that's cool. When I wrote them a letter, I got one in return, which is cool. Some people never get a return letter. I wrote them a letter. Hey, I'm really interested. Coach Connie Clark. My dad went to Texas, et cetera, et cetera. They wrote me a letter back saying, thanks so much for your interest. We are no longer recruiting the 2006 class. I was 2007. So I'm like, one, they don't know who I am. Two, they're not interested. So
yeah.
that was something that I think a lot of kids fear. And what ended up happening for me is after that, I set my sights on Pac-10. Now doesn't even exist anymore, or maybe it
Right.
doesn't even understand it. But um, yeah, I was recruited by Arizona and Washington were the final two. Went on visits, got to sit in Mike Candrea's office with all the Team USA helmets. It
Right.
was really, really cool. My first actual trip was to Washington. It was sunny. We beat UCLA. Um, it was beautiful. And I ended up committing based on just my experience. But I think that the actual feeling of the unknown, the actual feeling of not knowing before you get that initial letter or before you get the interest, am I good enough to get that
Hmm.
interest?
Hmm.
Uh, have I done enough? Have I put in the work? And now kids might not be asking that. I think in my like high school level classes, I get a lot of kids that come up to me after class and just go, I've been working really hard on this. Am I not seeing something? I haven't been getting like the looks because now you can see who's looking at these apps, who's
Sure.
opening your emails, who's doing these things. And I, I don't know if I could have handled that because, again, when I was recruiting or getting recruited, I would get regular mail. I sent out all of my emails to school, probably sent out I don't know, 30 emails to schools that I thought, okay, this is kind of in my wheelhouse. They have my major. I would want to go on a trip here. I did all of that on my own. I responded to everything on my own. And now when I feel like I'm a tiny bit out of touch when I'm advising kids,
Sure.
especially because now they're battling. It's not just being the best junior in your class. It's about now, oh, there's somebody from the portal that
That's
didn't
right.
like their school and now is going to help a different school. So I think the tactics and strategies that kids are using to get recruited, even if they're amazing and there's nothing that they should technically like, they're not lacking anything to get recruited. I think the perspective is that you have to realize that it has to be a fit for you and it also has to be a fit for the school. So it's never about like, oh, you're not good enough or nothing's ever going to go your way. It's just the puzzle pieces have to fit together, and patience is a virtue that I have never really been great at, but it's such a key tool to start to develop that patience for your own journey because it's going to work out.
Yeah.
It's the puzzle pieces just have to have time to fit together.
Yeah, it's so different. Imagine, yeah, getting actual letters in the mail. My daughter's a rising junior, so she was, digital, of course, and emails and stuff. But that process of getting feedback, do you like me? Am I good enough? That is a really challenging one. You can go to a camp, you can go to a workout, you can go on a visit, but like, do they like me? And one of the hardest things I always, when I talk to the kids about it, and you can have a dream school, like let's say it's Washington, okay? Like they usually will get 5 kids a year. It's like five, one's a pitcher, one's a catcher, one's an infield, one's an outfield, and something else. Like, are you going to be one of those five? Like, don't lock yourself into one school because it just might not be your year for your position and whatnot. So what we found, with my older ones team is that everyone who wanted to play at the next level did.
Hmm.
Everyone found a home that was right for them at the end. It doesn't work out for everybody, of course, but like finding that spot, be patient. I wish it was easy. It's like it's the corollary is dating. I mean, really, it's like you say hello, 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 and you just don't get feedback. It's really hard. So I don't envy that experience, and and so forth. But let's keep rolling. This one's from Kobe Bryant, which is everything I read from him is he's terrific. What do you got?
If you're afraid to fail, then you're probably going to fail.
Yeah.
Yeah. This connected really deeply with my junior year of college. This is after we won. This is after that beach ball experience in the World Series. I really, really felt all those seniors graduating no longer had that safety net of like, oh, if I don't do it, other people are going to do it, because now I'm a big bad junior. I'm supposed to be an All-American, and the expectation is that I am this girl that was at the World Series, that I still was trying to figure out, oh, is this me? Can I be the one in these situations? And I didn't really believe it, just based on all of my experience not being the one as a hitter. So I fell back to the level of my training, which was no mental training really. And I was really afraid to let everybody down. And when you just, that's the overriding thought and theme of your everyday, it ends up happening. Instead of you going, you know what, I'm putting in the work. I can be the one. Why not me? All of these affirmations that you can be building, if we're just kind of sitting back and being passive and letting our brain just rule, letting our emotions rule and not checking that, it gets really tough not to have that worst case scenario happen.
Yeah, just going to Kobe, and of course the tragedy there, and you were in California, probably hit even harder. But just everything I've seen when I watch him speak, on clips and his history and his practice and his work ethic, like that's how you do it. Like you train so hard that the game is easy. I know Michael Jordan's famous for the quote, or Wayne Gretzky, right? You miss the shots you don't take, and so forth. But he had that same mentality. Give me the ball. I'm going to try to do my best. I might fail, but like, if you don't try it, or if you think you're going to fail, yeah, you're going to fail. And so just a great athlete there. And unfortunately, before his time. All right, we're going to start to wrap. This was awesome. We did a lot of stuff, but I don't let guests go without giving me a book recommendation. So what's something you're reading now? Something you recommend to friends, something you like? It could be anything on the spectrum. What do you think?
Well, I am going to tell you what I'm reading now, because it's just top of my mind, and I think it can be applied with a lot of different things. It's called Who Not How, by Dan Sullivan, and Dr. Benjamin Hardy, who helped him write it. So Who Not How is, I'm a business person, work for myself, and it's really, really hard to kind of hand things to different people. This is just a book that has really helped me kind of understand how to empower people on your team, but still have to maintain that vision, have to strive to become a better leader. So I love it right now. That's where I'm at.
All right. I wrote that one down. Who Not How by Dan Sullivan. Now, what is something, and you're very vulnerable, and there's a lot of stuff out there, so it's going to be hard for you to maybe find this one. What is something that maybe not too many people know about you?
Oh gosh. Something that not too many people know about me. My first dog, so Ben, you probably have seen him going back and forth. He's a golden doodle, post about him a ton. Is not my only dog. My first dog, her name's Rey, Rey, named after the Star Wars character initially, before I don't know, her whole story played out. But she has like in this intense anxiety. So when I would leave her at my house by herself, she would just like be underneath my couch. So now I had to get this other dog, Benjamin, who is like the complete opposite of her. He's just like the friendliest thing. But yeah, that's kind of what I think about is Ben isn't my only dog. I've got another dog, Rey, who now has to live with my parents because she feels safer there, which I feel like is part of my personality. They say that dogs take after their owners, and I have like this split personality. There's this Rey personality in me that is kind of guarded and scared and has anxiety. And then there's the Ben part of me that it's just like, hey, everything's good.
Yeah.
We're just going to keep moving forward, one step in front of the other.
Okay. So half the day under the couch, half the day out and about running practices. All right. Well, all right, Morgan. Awesome. Do me a favor. Your website, your socials, you're super easy to find out there, but tell folks where they can find you.
Yes, morgan-stewart.com is where you can find all information. You can book lessons. You can find out about Defense Club, which was my online platform that I put all of my drill videos on. The Real Work is my new book that's out. I talk about a lot of my stories as a kid. You can buy it through that website. You can find it on Amazon, get it delivered to you quick. Would love some reviews. If anybody listening out there has already read it,
Yeah.
Always good for feedback. I'm looking to write another one here soon.
Good. Oh man, the process of writing a book is not an easy one. Folks, thank you. Morgan Stewart can be found at morgan-stewart.com. From there, you can easily find her links, her classes, her stuff, as well as her socials. Folks, do me a big favor. If you would, please rate the show, review the show, the episode. You're listening, wherever you're listening or watching, please give it a like or a comment. That stuff really helps us. So yeah, that feedback is really great. Also share it, folks, share with the community as well and spread the word. That would be super appreciated. We'll see folks next time. Thanks, Morgan.
Thanks. Bye.